car was perfect. Something happened. I had to roll it out of my trailer, where it just keeps getting worse for me. So many headaches. 92 Mitsubishi 3000 GT. This is a Shelby Series 1 Roadster. This was my dream ultimate car. No gas. Yeah, like way below E. The Skyline is up. Jesus.
Disconnect that little half shaft cup. Yes.
Today's video is all about why I have trust issues. And it is also my last Mecum video. Completely unrelated to Mecum, but this is the closeout on my Nissan Skyline, which is just really tremendously bumming me out.
Bummer!
I didn't really want to sell this car, but I thought, hey, you know what? If it's gonna sell, maybe it'll sell at Mecum down in Kissimmee. I paid to ship it down there. It didn't sell. I brought it to another auction. They wouldn't sell it because it's in kilometers, not miles. I shipped it back here. Guess what? The car does not move. Stuck. Where you see it is how it showed up here. I showed up, the car was here, doesn't move. I don't know what's up with this car. I don't know what happened from the time I parked it to the time I see it within 5 days. Something's fishy. Someone messed with my car in today's video. We're gonna figure it out and also talk about why I have trust issues. My name is Craig from Flying Wheels. So many headaches. Let's get going. My brother, Adam Altogether, is a Nissan, like a 90s Nissan aficionado. That looks like somebody's footprint. Why is somebody's footprint on my dash, like so bad that it doesn't even come off? And what is this? So I'm really frustrated in today's video because this car was perfect. Like literally perfect. I get in this car, here's what's happening. I'll take my GTR key. I will insert it in the ignition. Turn the key, clutch in, purrs like a kitten. Awesome, right? I take it out of first gear, shift it in neutral. All is great, right? I'm gonna push the clutch in. I have plenty of pressure here. Plenty of pressure. Clutch in, first gear. Let's get going. Clutch out, foot off the clutch completely. I'm going nowhere. I'm going nowhere. It's in gear, like, look at, will it go? It won't, yeah, see? So, all right, clutch in, reverse. I've owned this car for 2.5 years, so I know there's no issue with it. All of a sudden, 3 days after I drop it off at the auction, here's an issue. And like, I drove it 40 minutes. Before we dive into the Skyline here, let me explain what I did. I flew back to Florida last week to bring the Skyline to a dealer auction as well as the Mercedes SL 500 back to a different dealer auction, hoping I can sell them down here rather than having to ship them home. That didn't work out, but here's how it went. Hey, welcome back to the Mecum Auto Auction, where it just keeps getting worse for me. If you've been watching along in my videos, for the past month and a half, I've been trying to get cars to the Mecum auction in Kissimmee, Florida to sell. Didn't sell 2 of them, broke even and lost money on 3 of them, and had to fly back, which is what you're watching me do right now, to get rid of 2 of the cars that are here. A year ago I came here, I'm like, hey, you know what, I could do this. Let me try my hand at selling some cool cars at the Mecum Auto Auction. Never done it before, which is partially why I make these videos, because had I watched a video like this, I would have known what I was in for and probably would not have done it. Now, a week ago, I ran 5 cars through, only sold 3. I was told, hey, they go to the bid goes on for 21 days, so don't take it out yet. Then I realized, oh, no, you gotta get it out by the following Monday, which is today. So I had to fly back here because I couldn't get a transporter in time, and I'm moving them to another auction today. Now I'm in sunny Florida, right? No, I'm not in sunny Florida, but I am in Florida, transporting and Ubering cars back and forth from auction to auction because today is the last day that these cars can be here. And I'm really gonna show you the auction process. My name is Craig from Flying Wheels. Let's get going. We have Ferraris, we have Bentleys, we have old Mustangs, we have old Corvettes. We have a little bit of everything. There's a Lincoln Continental over there, all just sitting in the rain. And today is the last day that these cars are allowed to be here. The auction ended yesterday, Sunday, and what I learned was the good stuff sells the last weekend. Saturday and Sunday, we had multi-million-dollar cars that were running through the auction. I ran through the beginning of the week. Wasn't a lot of money here. Wasn't a lot of people in the crowd during the week. Learning lesson, I learned. Also, in the defense of Mecum Auto Auction, I didn't really have the cars that they were running through yesterday and Saturday. Mine were more like budget-friendly cars, so I guess they lined me up on the appropriate day. Needless to say, I didn't make any money. Hey, honorable mention, what is this, a 94-ish 3000 GT? 92 Mitsubishi 3000 GT. It's an SL and it's an automatic. So, not a manual transmission, not a VR4, not a twin turbo. So, still pretty clean and cool though to see something like that on the road, still alive. Wow, check out the classic car tent. That is pretty neat to still see these out here.
Wow, Rolls Royce. Look at this Rolls Royce. Sold too. Estimated at, oh, they don't tell you, $180,000 to $200,000. I wonder what it sold for. Look at the cars in this tent. Oh, we have a Ferrari over there. Is that a Dino? You guys tell me if I'm right or wrong. And here's the aftermath in here. This was all classic car collections. And you can see they actually rolled out carpets for all the cars. And then they roll them up. I didn't realize that. That's pretty neat to see it like that.
This place is like a ghost town. It's crazy. Just look at, the auction ended yesterday. Literally the last day was yesterday. And every tent is empty. They're already taking everything down. It's wild to see stuff like this so quickly. And what really stinks is it's just a flipping mud pit. Everywhere there's mud. And I wore my whites. My oldest son's a sneakerhead and he would lose his mind if he saw what I was walking white sneakers through right now. I see a Shelby. What is that Shelby over there called? It was my dream car in high school and I can't remember what it was. A short bed Silverado, a Corvette, a Mustang. These look like it would be a good time to drive. Look at that tent is leaking. The roof is off of this. This would be fun to drive once. So fun fact, the reason they call a trunk is because it was quite literally a trunk. That is the trunk of a car right there. And look at, you get your step 1, step 2, step 3 into the rumble seat in the back of a car. Thought that was kind of neat. Wow, look at this old fire truck conversion. I assume this was once a fire truck, right? This is what they turned it into. Wow, that is really, really neat. This right here is what I was talking about. This was from what I remember in video games, and I have model cars of this. This is a Shelby Series 1 Roadster from 1999. This would have been like, when I was in high school, this was my dream ultimate car. Signed by Carroll Shelby. I believe they were on like a Corvette platform, am I right? That looks like a GM radio, GM gauges, 6-speed manual, so it's probably a T56 transmission. The gauges look very Corvette-esque as well. This is number 142 of 249 built. It was a 4-liter 32-valve V8 with a 6-speed manual transmission. So maybe a North Star. It definitely wasn't an LS1. LS1 was a 5.7. This is a 4-liter V8. Well, we found our Skyline. She does need a jump. Let's see if we can get her running. Mecum sold, I wish. There she is. No gas. Yeah, like way below E. I am in a rear-wheel drive manual car in slick mud. Like, it is driving me nuts to not spin my tires and do donuts in a Nissan Skyline right now. It's killing me. I gotta tell you, this Skyline, cruising at 70 miles an hour, no issues. I'm kind of happy this car didn't sell because it's fun to drive and I love the looks I get driving right-hand drive. This car is really fun. I'm bringing it to another auction. We'll see if it sells. I don't really care if it doesn't. I'll just ship it home. Fun fact for anyone that has never driven a right-hand drive car, let me roll up my windows for a second, turn the music off. I want to show you some cool things. So I'm going to put some myths and questions, answer, whatever, that doesn't make any sense. Answer some questions. So manual transmission, right-hand drive. What's cool about this car is it's just like your regular manual transmission. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, reverse. Everything is in the center, just opposite. And then my directionals are on the right-hand side and my wipers are on the left-hand side. Now, what's strange about this car, it is from Japan, right? So everything should be Japanese. It was like, this was a car driven in Japan. But if you look here, it says off. It says full wash, off, intermittent, low. Like, there's a lot of English. Now, the heater is in Celsius because everyone in the world uses that, which is normal. So for a car that was built to be driven in Japan, it's odd that there are so many English words on this car. I mean, these were never manufactured. It's not like it was an Altima built in Japan and Altimas are in the US. Skylines were only for Japan and Europe and everywhere but the US. So it's strange to see English writing on a car that was never meant to be in America.
1 week later.
1995 Nissan Skyline R33 in midnight purple 2. You'll start to see how the colors change. There's some green, there's some purple, there's a little bit of browns in there. There's all kinds of colors. Those are SSR wheels from Japan, RB25, turbo, 6-speed, right-hand drive car. This car is so fun. It is so cool. It gets head turns everywhere I go. It's pretty amazing. Now, I've owned it for 2 years. I bought it like just after COVID. It was a completely original car, just imported from Japan. I brought it here to New Hampshire. My brother, Adam Altogether, is a Nissan, like a 90s Nissan aficionado. This car was perfect. perfect, like literally perfect. I spent $8,000 having the paint and body done in Midnight Purple 2, and we detailed it to perfection to get it down to Florida to sell it at the auction. I paid to have it transported in an enclosed trailer, just like I did everything right. It didn't sell. That's fine. It didn't sell. I don't mind. I'll ship it back here. But instead of shipping it back here, I'm like, you know what, Craig? Let's bring it to another auction, a dealer auction. I'm already in Florida. I flew down to Florida to transport 2 cars, and I wanted to sell it at a dealer auction. Maybe it'll sell there. So I fly to Florida. I Uber over to Mecum. I find my car in the rain. I get it. I drive it 40 minutes to the dealer auction. I leave it. That's the last time I saw this car. They asked me to park it because they couldn't drive right-hand drive. I park it. I get a call the next day saying, Craig, we can't sell it because it's in kilometers. Now, we don't sell gray market cars. Fine, whatever. I call Lauren, my manager, beep, pop. Lauren, got to get this car shipped home ASAP. Like within 3 days. Car is on an enclosed trailer, again, $1,300, back to New Hampshire. And now there is like nothing. So what happened in 3 days that this car will not move out of its own way under its own power? What happened? I don't know. I'm gonna push it out of the way today, and tomorrow we're gonna find out. So frustrating, and this is why I said I have trust issues. I left it for 3 days inside an enclosed fenced auction with security, and somehow something happened. Called the shipper. I'm like, hey bud, what's up? He's like, I don't know. I had to roll it out of my trailer. How'd you get in the trailer? I kind of drove it in. I'm like, all right, so you drove it into the trailer, you rolled it out of the trailer. What happened in between? No answers. And I'm gonna pull it on the lift tomorrow and we're gonna figure it out. When I was at the auction, I was having a battery issue. The battery was dead. I don't know why. Who knows what could have happened at both auctions. And then I'm also having battery issues now. So perfect segue into this tool that I use all the time. Check this out. Let me go into this mess, the abyss. And here we go, my FOXWELL battery analyzer, BT705. Inside here is my battery tester or battery analyzer. Check this thing out. It powers off of your car battery. Now I know this Audi battery was already junk. I plugged it in. I'm getting no power off of it. So I'm gonna take this up to the Skyline and test the battery in the Skyline. Love the way this car looks. I'm so glad it didn't sell. Like, you know what? I would rather the cash, but it is such a cool car. It is really, like, I've never seen another one in real life. Let's pull that open. We will pop the trunk. Connect this right to the negative right there. I'll connect this to the positive up here. Now this is an AGM battery. You'll see how long the cable is right here. So I'm out of the car. 11.65 volts. Hit enter. That's 12 volt system. Regular. I'm not going to start or stop it. It is in the vehicle. Enter. Top post. AGM. The battery has 500 cold cranking amps. Let's test it out. Good recharge. So we are good. We're at 11.64 volts out of a, press start to test. I'll just test it again. Out of a 12 volt battery, start engine. So we're gonna try it out while starting the engine. Clutch in, key in, and there we go. She's a runner. And here we go, cranking. Checking for alternator output. So right now we're testing the alternator. Rev engine when loads off. Love the way this car sounds. Engine rev detected, idle engine, press to continue. Testing alternator at idle, load off. Turn high beams and blower motor on. Wow, this thing really tests everything. Lights on, fan on high. Press to continue. Engine again. Engine rev detected, press continue. Turn engine off, continue. No problems. If you guys are interested in this FOXWELL battery analyzer, the BT705, there is a link in my description. It's called a load battery tester. It's an analyzer, digital charging system. You can test alternators, you can test cold cranking amps. It works on heavy duty trucks, boats, marine, anything, SUVs, and ATVs. It has comprehensive functions for 12 volt, 24 volt batteries. It tests battery health, and it has up to 99.5% accuracy. It's easy to use, super easy to understand. Connect it to the terminal and start testing. No apps needed. It has a 2.8-inch LCD screen and a handheld carrying case. You saw the cables, they're 5.9 feet long. So the test cable is like, I can leave this connected to the battery and then still walk away and look at it from 6 feet away. So yes, this video is sponsored by my FOXWELL battery analyzer. I use it all the time. If you want one for yourself, highly recommend. There is a link in the description. They're inexpensive and it's a great tool to have for yourself. And there's actually a coupon code with it as well. So definitely go check it out.
The next day.
Today's the day we try to figure out what happened to this Nissan Skyline. The Mannheim auction, we left it there. They wouldn't run it because it's in kilometers, not miles. And I drove it 40 minutes from Mecum to Mannheim, and somehow the car does not move. Devin, can you hold this for me? Let's see what's happening. Maybe we'll get lucky and all of a sudden it will just change its mind and decide that it wants to move. Ugh, and it's filthy. It was parked in the mud at Mecum. It starts. Somebody broke my tweeter. This is a real bummer. First gear, nothing. Nothing. So what could somebody have done inside of an auction to make this thing not? I've owned this car 2.5 years. Never had an issue.
Didn't he drive it on the trailer to bring it down?
He said he kind of drove it on the trailer and it was acting funny. It's gonna freeze now. Look at, I can see the water coming up in the parking lot. That's gonna freeze and create a bubble in my parking lot. All right, she's in. I love the color of this car. That purple just really pops. That looks incredible. Adam altogether did an amazing job. Look at the greens in it and now the purple in it. Wow. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna throw it up on the lift. We'll check, like I'll have Devin go inside. We'll pump the clutch, see if there's anything moving in the transmission on the side of the transmission. We already checked the hydraulic fluid. He said it's fine. Yep, that's a bummer. This thing's gonna need a clutch, and who the hell works on clutches in a Skyline, and what's it gonna cost me? All right, the Skyline is up in the air.
Okay, put it in gear.
I heard it engage.
Their tires aren't even turning.
So, oh, for Christ's sake, nothing's happening. Devin, can you start the car? All right, it's in gear. Let the clutch out. Yeah, well, good news is the drive shaft.
The transmission's good. That's in the Marine.
The transmission's good, the clutch is good. So what happened at the auction? Take it out of gear.
Okay, shut it off a minute. Why is that slid out?
But even still, why on one side? Like this one should still be spinning, right?
Yes, this is positive, right?
Yeah. All right. Okay, so you move the wheels, the differential spins the other side. There are people on the internet much smarter than me watching this, knowing what's happening, and I don't. So why is the differential turning this wheel from here? The drive shaft isn't spinning.
Well, it is, but it isn't. Hold on,
barely.
drive shaft.
Yeah, go ahead. All right, so there's no connection from the drive shaft into the rear differential. All right, so is this shiny flashlight again?
That wasn't like that before.
No. Well, we gotta take the cover off. But this is that pain in the ass car that, does everything have to come down? Can you get to that cover? Look at how tight it is in there. And then it's connected in here in the trunk too. All right, Dave was able to slide the axle in a little deeper. Engage in first gear. Jesus. Go again.
Slowly. You got the e-brake on?
All right, try again. That's promising, man. You figured it out. E-axle popped out. But how do we prevent it from popping out again?
Usually there's a clip on the end of that CV axle that holds it in.
All right, so problem solved, kind of. You're good. So what happened at the auction that my car is now not moving and now is moving? Like, why did the CV axle pop out? What did somebody do in a parking lot with my car? It's now sliding out again. It was never before in 2 years of ownership, and now it's sliding out. So what did somebody do at the auction that caused this to slide out? Go. Wow.
So this is a bolt-on axle like a front on a like a Yukon or something.
Yeah.
This is separate.
You have to call Adam all together on this one. Me, one is about you. So I have the Skyline in the garage on the lift, and I have some good news. Shifts into gear, drive shaft spins all the way to the rear differential, and when I turn the rear wheels, one rear wheel, the other rear wheel spins, so all is good. What we found out was the right rear CV axle popped out of the differential. So when Dave just slid it back in, it went right back in. And then everything works. So I'm thinking somebody must have tried to do a donut or spin the wheels or something with a lot of pressure on one side, and the clip, like whatever clip holds the CV axle in, popped off or something.
So it's almost like a half shaft, right? It's only like 4 to 6 inches long.
Yeah.
A little, it's like a cup.
Yeah.
That popped out of the differential.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, I've never seen that before. Very unusual.
So I assume we're gonna have to take the cover off and find out what's keeping this half shaft in the differential, right?
Not necessarily. Sometimes you can just kind of pop it in, you know? So it's almost like if your shoulder becomes dislocated.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to have surgery. You just pop it back in. And it's kind of like that. It should go that way. You shouldn't have to use an excessive amount of force that's going to damage it. I would pull the axle, the actual axle assembly.
Yeah, good idea, yeah.
And disconnect that little half shaft cup from the axle, and then try to use like a rubber dead blow hammer.
That's a great idea. That's what we'll do.
That way you don't have to pull the diff, you don't have to replace the fluid or gasket or anything like that.
That's a great idea. All right, thank you. I'm glad I called you.
Yeah, no problem.
Adam all together, ladies and gentlemen. You're on camera. I should have been told you your video and audio recorded.
I didn't even make a dick joke.
You sound like a pro. All right, thanks.
All right, you got it.
Hey, I want to call you about the auction yesterday, but I'll call you back.
All right, sounds good.
Thanks,
See
bye.
you.
All right, let's get Devin down from up top, and we'll disconnect just what Adam said. We'll disconnect the CV axle
from the half shaft and try to put it up in place. So there is a little movement to get it in there. And then dead blow, rubber mallet or something, see if you can get it in. Make sure the teeth are lined up. Yeah. So probably maybe have Devin make sure that the wheel, well, you can do it from here. Spin the wheels, make sure this wheel spins that tire, that drive shaft. That way we know we're lined up. And the teeth are lined up, and then dead blow it. Think that'll work?
Yeah, we can try it.
Let's try it.
I'll take this out and I'll see if that clip is on the end of it too.
Okay.
There should be enough room moving this over here. And
perfect. Great. I'm glad we called him. All right, let's get Devin down. Well, it's only been a few minutes. Dave already has the CV axle disassembled, and you're gonna try to pull that out completely.
I was thinking about it. See if the clip's
let's see
on
what
there.
happens.
That's as far as it'll go.
Okay.
Look how that is. I don't know if it's supposed to look like that.
Well, just pound that thing. Give it a good pounding. Record it if you do it, okay? Or have Devin hold the camera.
All right, what's going on, Dave?
So as Craig was showing earlier,
Yep.
the axle shaft is popped out. You can see it right there. So that goes into the rear differential. So it needs to go all the way in. So what I'm going to do, you got to turn it just a little bit, that down a little bit, and then we're going to see if that'll go in any further. Hey, bingo. And as you can see there, now it is all the way uptight. Does not come out like it did by hand before. I'll bolt it back together and we'll try it out.
Good job, Dave.
Okay, go ahead and start it. Give it just a little bit of gas, not much. Okay, go ahead and set it off.
So before I jump into the Skyline, I actually want to give you a follow-up on the cars we sold at Mecum, because this is like not about Mecum, but it kind of is. So this is the like finale. This is the final video. No more Mecum auction videos. I'm going to Barrett-Jackson in April, so hopefully I don't make the same mistake twice. But the Corvette sold, the Mustang sold, the WRX sold. The Mercedes, I drove it, well, the Skyline, I brought to the auction. They would not sell because it's in kilometers, not miles. They wouldn't sell a gray market vehicle, so I had to ship it back here. So $1,000 back. So it was $1,300 down, $1,000 back, enclosed. Best case scenario, we fixed the Skyline, it's running. Mercedes, flew down to Florida, brought it to a dealer auction, ran it twice, $40 each time, cost me $80, plus going down there. And that car did not sell twice. Now it's being shipped home. The Skyline is puzzling. I've owned that car for 2 years. That has never happened before. I drove it to the auction for 40 minutes and all of a sudden it does not move. So what would have popped that CV axle out? I'm sure one of you guys out there knows what happened to it, like what would have caused that. And it's not just from driving slowly. I can promise you that. Someone in the auction, which is exactly what Adam thinks, my brother, got in that car, wanted to do some donuts in a right-hand drive car and pop that CV axle. I guarantee you that's what happened, but I would love to know what you guys think.
The next day.
Snow. Snow, snow, snow. It snowed yesterday. I plowed yesterday. There's my Ram rig, my tow rig. And that right there, that red car, is my 2003 Mercedes SL 500. And unfortunately, I had to ship it back to New Hampshire for a whopping $800 because it did not sell 3 times in Florida. Well, here it is. The car is filthy. It keeps getting worse. I don't know. I guess it's a good opportunity to have it back here. I have a Corvette. I have a G35. We have some toys. Spring isn't too far away. We're about 2 months from spring. And that gives us some time without a lot of pressure to really bring this thing back to life. You can actually see the suspension collapsed on it too. That wasn't happening previously. Oh, it's such a good looking car though. And I own that thing for like 11 grand, so 39,000 miles, that's a lot of car, and we can make it look amazing. Remember what it looks like right now. Well, it's the next day. Skyline should be finished. Let's hop in and see if she moves again. Look at that car. Every time I look at this car, I just say, look at that color. Keys, clutch, hit the keys, hit the clutch, hit the gas, and I'm gone. What song? What song, if anybody guesses, I would be impressed. Hit the keys, hit the clutch, hit the gas, and I'm gone. First gear engaged, and we're off. Yes, we're off, we're moving. She's a driver again. Let's try reverse. Yeah, great, she's good. So now that Dev and I are driving it, it's moving, but it's misfiring too. So we gotta figure out what that's all about. I'm not even get into it in this video. I'm just done with vlogging about this headache. So we'll figure it out later on. It's moving, it's driving, but it's running a bit rough now. So that's the next headache that we're gonna have to deal with. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all later. Adios.